Okay, now we're ready for our lecture. And Reverend Sharon Flynn is a minister with the Metaphysical Chapel of Life and has been a chapel member since 1994. In 1999, she became a Novitiate Minister through the Metaphysical Chapel of Life, and in 2002, she was fully ordained under the auspices of our charter church, the Church of Enlightenment. She has owned and operated Hypnosis and Healing Centers since 2002, locally and in other areas, using her gifts and abilities as a spiritual director and consultant. An advanced energy healer, a certified hypnotherapist, and a teacher of classes and workshops, Sharon's prior career in the medical field as a radiologist technologist of 25 years helped shape her natural healing abilities and understanding of the human form. Here at the chapel, she is our minister who oversees spiritual healing, teaches spiritual healing classes, and also facilitates seasonal celebrations at chapel. She has experienced several NDEs, near-death experiences, as well as numerous expanded spiritual experiences that guided her on this path of alternative healing modalities and facilitating change and soul growth for others. She is blessed with 3 grown married children, 2 sons and a daughter, with 4 grandsons and 2 granddaughters. Please join us in welcoming the Reverend Sharon Flynn to the podium.
Okay, I think we're about the same height, aren't we?
I can take my shoes off.
It was. We have to play it around that. All right. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here, and good to see everyone here and on Zoom. Not that I'm seeing them very much, but I know you're there. I feel your energy. So interesting. I love the song that Trish picked out, because what I want to talk about is love. Of course. Of course. To me, seeking, what is the ultimate human struggle? To me, it's seeking love, desiring to need to be loved, the desire to be loved, seeking and desiring and wanting that connection. Now that means there's many different kinds of love. And the one thing that caught my memory bank was that in Alaska, they have many different words for love. I mean, I think it's in the 70s or the hundreds. I tried to look it up, but it didn't let me find it. So I thought that was really interesting. So what's the ultimate human struggle? At this point in time, it's love. But Maslow's hierarchy of needs tells us that we have to have all these other things before we actually have love. So we have to have the physiological needs. That includes basic biological things such as food and water and shelter and warmth and sleep. We have to feel safe. This includes the need for security, stability, and protection from danger or harm. I'm reading this from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We need the social needs. That includes the need for love, affection, belongingness, and social interactions. We also have esteem needs. And these are needs for self-esteem, achievements, and just being recognized and respected from others. And then the top of the list here is self-actualization needs, and this includes the need for personal growth, fulfillment, and a realization for one's full potential. Well, that's what this chapel's all about, isn't it? Yes. That very last one. I always like to do the meaning of things, look it up on the dictionary. So love is a noun, and there's three things that they have put in here. A strong feeling of affection and concern toward another person that is arising from the kinship and close friendship. Number 2, a strong feeling of affection, concern for another person accompanied by sexual attraction. And the third one, is a feeling of devotion or adoration toward God or a God. Well, I'm just going to put God. So when a child is not given that love, that affection, it has a failure to thrive. So we are wired in. We are wired into that love. And probably a lot of us here in this chapel probably didn't experience the type of love we needed through our childhood. And there is a gentleman that I just adore. I haven't listened to him in a long time. His name is Hans Wilhelm, and he does the universal laws. And he used to draw them. Now I think he just talks them. But one of the things that I like about him is that if we're not given love in childhood, we will mirror that lack of love onto others, and we will continue to receive the same lack. He said that when we are born without love in a family, that means that our soul needs to seek it within oneself, for oneself. So lack of love in your life is there for a reason. It's for you to seek your own love. So, but how do we seek our own love if we're not getting the approval from others? How do we seek love if we don't have it around us? It's sometimes hard to mimic that. So, and you know, there's many, many kinds of love. I mean, we have love of our hierarchy, of our gods. We have, and I feel like that's number one. If we're connected to God's love, then we're connected to all the love here. We have parents' love. We have our siblings. We have our friends, our partners, lovers, you know, love for children, relatives, dogs. You know, dogs, yes, animals, oh my God, butterflies, and we could go on and on. But to me, God's love is the reason why we're here. To me, it's the only way we can get in touch with loving oneself. So how do we connect to God's love? How do we do that? You know, everybody's like, if you're not in a conscious state of awareness of that there is a higher energy for you, then it's a little difficult sometimes to go seek something. And most people seek it outside. When you seek God's love, you're seeking it inside. And you seek it through gratitude. The heart always needs to be open first. And if we have difficulties with certain emotions, we will be definitely blocked from getting into that meditation and getting into that connection. Emotions like anger, judgment, grief, they can all block God's love or the desiring to connect to God's love. To me, we hear this day in and day out here in this spiritual place here and in the world. We always relate to God as light, God's love as light. And I do believe that we are mimicked, or we are made in the image of God, and that means that we have a light body, we have a vibrational body, we have a frequency, and we have a physical. So with all of that, we can utilize those components to get more connected to God through music, through light, through sound. God's love is palpable and felt. When we go into a meditation, we can feel that quietness and that tingling sensation or the essence of something that is not us. And that's God's love right there. That's God's connection. I like to use light in the form of God's love to do a lot of things. In fact, that's what I do all day. Pretty much when I do laying on the hands and healing. One of the things that I always encourage, and I'm sure I've said this, and for some reason I have to say it again so everybody will hear it again, is that when you meditate outside in the morning or any time where there's light coming in, that is the time to utilize that light as God's love. With intention, you can bring it in and you can change your whole outlook on life. You can calm yourself down. You can change your perception of the day, of how it's going to flow. There's a million. You can heal your body with light. We are light. We are the frequency. We are the connection. So utilizing light is the most important thing I believe that we can do to heal ourselves, to heal our emotions. And you can set up your day that will flow so well with that light and that intention. You just pre-create how you want to feel from the time you start with the light to the time that and it can be 2 minutes. It can be 5 minutes. I think mine lasted about 3 this morning because there was a hornet and a bee around my head. They were drawn to me. But the light is just, I don't know how to emphasize it except for giving you some of my my experiences that I've had with light, and some of them I probably shared with you before. One of them, I was doing some work around the house and, painting on ceilings and painting this and painting that, and my body just got too tired, so I decided to lay down. And I don't know, I felt like I fell asleep, and then I kind of woke up. And I could feel an energy coming in from the bottom of my feet. And I go, oh, okay. I could definitely feel that. And it just slowly just moved all the way up my body. And I said to myself, I feel like I'm a light bulb. Literally, I felt like a light bulb being turned on. And it was slow. It moved up and it encased me. And then I could feel myself kind of leaving my body and almost playing in the light. It was like we had all these wonderful little exchanges of connection. To me, that connection is love. That's the love you're immersed in all the time, but we're not always aware of it because we don't lend ourselves to be in that state of consciousness all the time. And the other time that I had, to me, this was one of the most profound experiences I ever have. Strangely enough, my oldest son is a minister. He's a Presbyterian minister, and he was going to the education. I forgot the name of that place. I hadn't even thought about it in years. It's in Richmond, and he went to see this college, and he was there for. We were there for a weekend, and we ended up going into the library, and I had bought a book at the book store there, and it was a book about, actually it was a book of, I read all sorts of books, and this was a Jewish faith, and it says, What is God? It's the name of the book. And I opened the book, I read first couple of pages, and then I left. My son was exploring the library at the seminary that he was in, he wanted to go to. And I united in this light, and it was like a tube. It was like I was being called up to my spaceship, whatever you want to call it. And I was there, I could feel myself so immersed in this light and love. It was like, okay, can I just stay? And it was beautiful. I met every one of my guides, and I could feel the immersion of them around me. And it was weird. It was like I was in the middle of a table, and they were all around me. And I introduced myself, and they introduced them, and they told me why they were there, what I needed to do, what I needed. It wasn't a conversation. It was an immersion of knowledge and coming in. And I felt so light. I wasn't concerned about anybody around me. I wasn't, I don't even know how long it was. I know my son didn't come back until after I came back into my body. But when I did wake up, I felt my face, my clothing, and I had been crying. I had been must have been just, those tears of connection. And that changed me at that point in time. So I knew at that point, they gave me some missions. They gave me some desires. Excuse me. They gave me things that I needed to do. So I took them up on it. So those were a few of my experiences. And I can't imagine if you never had that experience to that light of God. I would love for everyone to have that experience, to be honest with you, but some people are not in that level, but they can be. And I do believe that you can overcome the emotions that block your connection. Grief is a little hard one, but it still can be utilized. Just meditating and quieting your mind. That sounds like it's vanilla to me because everybody says that. But how do you do that? You just listen to something, or you get your mind caught up in that thought pattern or that focus. Like when you're looking at a fire. You're looking at a fire. Your mind's quiet. You could be driving. I think driving is the most amazing connection to God that you can have. Everybody that's driving is in a alpha state. They are. That's why most of the time there's not that many accidents to be. To me, I think the accidents are that everybody's in sync with one another and just flowing through this light tube. Because I create a light tube every time I drive, by the way. And I know that if you can use, because we all don't wake up, oh, this is a wonderful day. No, some people wake up going, oh no, I got to go there again. Yeah, okay. So how can we shift away from that? We can shift away from that by just asking for intentions to come in to, we're all going to be, I had a friend text me last night. She says, I'm tired of being tired. I can't untire myself. And I feel like that most of the people right now are going through this feeling of being tired and stressed, and please turn off the TV. Oh my God, that's the best thing you can do for yourself, and just create your own reality. So we're not always going to be in this happy place. So that's even more important, to bring God to you, to bring the gratitude to you, to put that intention out there. Feel it. Just feel that frustration, aggravation, whatever it is, and allow it to flow in, but then replace what you are letting go with light. The neutrino light, to me, is God's love. There's all sorts of particles of light, and we think light just kind of stays here. No, it's traveling, it's moving, it's shifting things, it's flowing. So utilize light as this source of, almost like a water. I always like to look at light water and let light water come in and give you a shower. You can do it anytime. Nobody's going to know you're doing that either. And you can shower yourself with light so it flows in you. I love another way that you can shift away from being aggravated is do mantras, whatever mantra. I know I used to have a mantra when somebody cut me off in traffic. I go, Dalai Lama, Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama. So, but I do like this one, and I know I've said this to everyone. I am the light, I am the love, I am the truth, I am. I got a kick out of her yesterday. She did post a thing on YouTube, and she's the one that made me think of when you wake up and you don't feel like it, and you're just not in a happy place. Well, that's when God can really come in and help shift you. So, and as you turn that connection, figure out the core energy of what it is that you're upset about. It could be 100 million things, but it can be resolved. It can be resolved with this light. So, a lot of people, and I talked about knowingness last time, people just know that there's light there, that you know that you're bringing in that light. And if you know that, then just build on that. That's another way of getting connected to that love. And my Neil Donald Walsh, he's one of my favorite guys out there. And I remember hearing a talk he had, and he goes, whatever you feel is going on with you, say you're lonely. So he says, seek people out that are lonely too, and, connect to them. I think that's everything. If you don't feel love, connect to somebody that is having a problem in their life about, family or friends or, a partner. Look for people that are going through very similar energies. So that's another way that you can connect through other people, through love. But it's a very similar principle. And so when you turn light into your consciousness or the connection to God, to me, I always feel that we are always immersed in light. We're never away from God's love, ever, ever. And then we have all these guides and angels that this place is brimming with beings here, because we each have 6 or 7 or 8, 11 or 12, who knows? Some people bring in a crowd with them. So that's their energies that you're feeling around them. So I remember having a conversation via text to one of my friends, and she was having to go through some kind of surgery. And she was meditating at the time. I didn't know this. And I said a prayer. I did a long distance prayer. I sent her angels and light and just love. And didn't know this until the next time I talked to her. She said, what did you do after you said, I'll send you prayers and light? And I said, well, I sent you prayers and light. I didn't think that was any big deal. It took me 2 seconds to send it. She says, I felt it. She says, my whole attitude changed. And I go, oh, that's nice to know. And it wasn't anything but thinking of her, doing like a long distance quick healing on her, which is, to me, I'm sending them light and the angels, and they will come in and do what they need to do. She says, I felt immediate, relaxed. My anxiousness disappeared, and I was good. I said, okay. So everyone can do this to anybody that comes across their minds. You don't have to get a text. We can send light to your grandson there, Barbara. I have. And so the long distance healing work is really working with light and working with the beautiful beings that are here to help heal. We have tons of angels that are just going, hey, I'm up here. Come on, give me a job to do. So send those angels, send that light to people. Send it to yourself, bring it to you. Oh, and the other part of this is that witness the healing being done. That's the little core, cherry on top there. So when you send light, you see whatever areas, you don't have to know exactly what's going on with somebody, but if you send light, that consciousness, those angels are going to work with the other angels to relieve or to help with whatever healing that needs to take place. But witness, it's the wholeness of the light. Almost like when I see a person's energy long distance, I see their systems, because I've been doing x-rays and things like that for so many years. I see everything turning into light, and if there's any little red points or picks here and there, I watch them disappear into golden light. Golden light is the light. White light is fine, but I see them as sparkles in the golden light. Because to me, the golden light is the light of God. It's the neutrinos. So be the witness to this light. Utilize the light. It's all around us. Even if you're in a dark room, you can still bring in the light. Because we are that light. We are that vibration. We are that frequency. So hopefully I gave you some homework to do for this next week and for the rest of your life. I mean, do some long distance healing for people. Be the light for others. And be the light for yourself, because we're all here to do God's work, to be the channel for God's love. And I wish that for everyone here, and I wish that everyone will have that power to do so. So many blessings to you. Thank you so much for letting me share.
Thank you, Sharon. That was awesome. Thank you.